This is the original Manoogian Mansion investigation. Now, 3 Michigan State police officers are coming forward and testifying that this is not the whole story about how Mike Cox shut down the investigation. Tonight, the Attorney General fires back.
And that's utter nonsense. You know it.
Mike Cox is the Attorney General of the state of Michigan, our top law enforcement official, responsible for everything from consumer crimes to homicide investigations. He calls himself the people's lawyer, and tonight, he's not happy.
But the reality is that you're trying to change this into some corrupt conspiracy that somehow I'm in bed with that loser who's in Houston or Dallas or wherever he is, because you know it gins up ratings.
The person the Attorney General is referring to as that loser in Dallas is Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit, run out of office for lying under oath and pushing a sheriff's deputy during the course of the perjury investigation. Kilpatrick's early months in office surrounded in controversy over rumors that a wild party took place at the Manoogian Mansion, where exotic dancer Tamara Green and others were rumored to be dancing for the mayor, then interrupted by the mayor's wife, Carlita Kilpatrick. The rumor running wild through the streets of Metro Detroit that Carlita Kilpatrick assaulted one of the dancers with a baseball bat. Mike Cox was called in to investigate the rumors.
The party has all the earmarks of an urban legend.
Last week, State Police Officer Mark Krebs was put under oath in a civil lawsuit. Detective Kurt Schramm and another Michigan State Police officer will testify in the weeks ahead. Krebs on the Manoogian Mansion party investigation, saying that in his 35 years he had never seen any Attorney General get so personally involved in a case, that he wanted to interview Carlita and Kwame Kilpatrick and had a long list of questions for them. Wanted to pursue leads regarding the destruction of 911 tapes by Detroit police. Wanted to obtain hospital records for injured women around the time of the alleged party, and wanted a grand jury to hear evidence. Officer Krebs saying Mike Cox blocked all his efforts.
You were aware of the rumor, though, that Carlita Kilpatrick may have assaulted someone.
That was part of what we looked at. And we knew that was the most titillating accusation. We knew that's what brings viewers to Channel 4.
Cox agreed to answer questions when we caught up with him at a police graduation ceremony where he was the keynote speaker. He says he did not ask Carlita Kilpatrick any questions because possibly hitting someone with a bat was insignificant compared to what else he discovered.
The bigger allegation was that Gary Brown was fired as part of a criminal obstruction of justice, and that part of that was that Mike Martin and the other high school friend of Mayor Kwame were getting improper overtime, and also were driving drunk on duty.
He says with no eyewitnesses, he was not willing to even ask the mayor's wife about it.
It looks like it would have taken 5 minutes to talk to Carlita Kilpatrick about this, and it looks like it might have been a courtesy to not talk to her.
Well, you know, 7 years ago, the Tigers might have won the World Series if they'd done a number of different things differently. You're absolutely right. Maybe I made some mistake. Maybe my 20 years as a prosecutor running the homicide unit, doing hundreds of murder prosecutions, maybe the fact that all these cops invited me to speak at a police leadership luncheon, maybe throw that all out the door. Maybe we're inept.
Cox is agitated because he answered many of these questions about a party years ago, but he's about to go from agitated to angry.
Mayor Kilpatrick is a convenient, you tease at the beginning of the news, and people are going to watch to see someone jumping on, that knucklehead that I sent to Texas.
Still ahead, the Attorney General lashes out at the attorney representing the children of Tamara Green, the Michigan State Police investigators on the case, and some members of the media. Our interview continues in just a few minutes. Attorney General Mike Cox is furious. He says any discussion about the Manoogian Mansion now is not news. It's part of a conspiracy against him. The 3 Michigan State police officers are testifying as part of a lawsuit against the city of Detroit. Tamara Green was gunned down in a hit on the streets of Detroit several months after rumors of the Manoogian Mansion party surfaced. 2 months after her death, Attorney General Mike Cox called the party an urban legend and shut down that part of the investigation. Norman Yatuma is the Birmingham lawyer who represents Tamara Green's 3 young children, who are suing the city of Detroit for failing to properly investigate their mother's murder.
And you put Mr. Yatuma on, who's the mercenary here. He's going to make more money to drive a nice car and stay in Bloomfield Hills. off this case. I'm not.
The Attorney General says the 3 Michigan State police officers currently testifying that he stopped them from pursuing solid leads of a party and the destruction of evidence by Detroit officials are way off base.
These 3 state troopers from Bad Axe and Adrian and those other places, they thought there was more there. We never stopped them.
The investigators are also upset as to how Cox interviewed Kwame Kilpatrick about the alleged party. Cox reminding me that he was not alone in the room one-on-one when he interviewed Kwame Kilpatrick, as I misreported last week.
That somehow I was questioning Mayor Kilpatrick alone, which you know was not true.
The fact is, Kwame had a City of Detroit lawyer with him, and Cox had a lead prosecutor with him in the room. Officer Mark Krebs' testimony is that he wanted himself and the other police officers who were actually investigating the case in the room as well, and he wanted Kilpatrick under oath, the conversation recorded. It was not allowed.
And that's the whole point of your story, is that somehow I'm a crook, and that's utter nonsense. You know it, and Utuma knows it.
I don't know why you think that I think you're a crook. I don't think you're a crook at all.
Well, you should watch your teasers. You should watch your teasers.
Well, I know for a fact that these officers have had depositions and they've made statements, and the statements...
And statements that they have an opinion. They have an opinion about me.
Cox wants it noted that his office issued plenty of subpoenas and that the officers could have gone to a different agency for the subpoenas he refused.
And they didn't come up with enough to even take it to Kim Worthy.
And that there is still no evidence today that there ever was a party. Insisting any news coverage of the police officers testifying is not news at all, but rather an attack on his character.
Now, I have to go do the people's business, and so I got to move on. But if you want to do some bull, sort of watching me walk away.
The Michigan State Police and Mike Cox were only involved in the party investigation. Detroit police are investigating Tamara Green's murder. Cox says it's important not to merge the two into one. But Green's family says they have questions in both investigations and they want answers. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.